baby.
We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we been.
Y'all better get comfortable with saying black.
We in here, yeah, we in here,
Black versus the Board of Education.
'cause we came here, rid of us now. We in here, yeah, we in here, 'cause we came here, rid of us now. And you know that we don't ever go, so you do what you want.
That's why we are indeed a whole mood.
That's it.
Welcome to another season. We're in season 8 of Black versus the Board of Education. Hello. My name is Miss Laureen, and I'm the captain of the ship. And as usual, wait, we missing somebody. Where's Melissa? Go on and pull her up before I get her through my spiel, right? Because Melissa is like me. She's back for her 8th season with Black versus the Board of Education. My little baby is not a baby anymore, but she's still my baby. And with that, I want to go through and I want to let them know who's in the building, but I know we're going to run out of time if we do it all, so we're not going to do that. I'm going to just let y'all know that Says is in the building. Both Miss Mama P and Coco are here.
We in the building.
And then we have our resident gentlemen in the building. Mr. Fox and Mr. Chastain are here for season 8.
How we do?
And this episode is called 21 Questions, right?
Oh,
so I've been able to compile some questions, and of course we'll take some from the viewers when they decide to pop in and give us some. However, we cannot start another season of Black versus the Board of Education comfortably. My problem is people are a little too comfortable. Y'all remember on Black Panther when he said, y'all in here too comfortable. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, we're going to ratchet it up a little bit this season. We want to really speak from the heart and make our intentions known as nonprofits are like working in this space and seeing what we are seeing. A lot of times we become complacent because we don't want to talk because money is attached to the things
Right.
that we going to talk about.
Right.
I've never been motivated by money. I believe I'm motivated by truth.
Come on.
And without being grounded in some sort of truth, there was a saying, if you don't stand for something, you will fall.
For anything.
Oh, come on, y'all. The choir says.
sure.
So we're going to get down with our 21 questions. I'm going to start it just off the bat right now. Melissa, I'm going to throw it to you first since you are the only one not in studio with us. The first question is, why are parents expected to trust school systems that aren't transparent with them? Go.
Parents, I feel like, are expected and should not, but are expected to trust school systems because it's legally required for you to educate your children. So it's like putting parents in a box where they feel like, you're sending your kids to school. You feel like you have to trust the people around you because you're supposed to be able to trust people in authority. You're supposed to be able to only send your kids to places where the people running it have their best interests at heart. That's clearly not what we see, or we wouldn't have this podcast and it wouldn't have been going for 8 seasons if we could trust the people in the school system. So parents are expected to trust the people in the school system and trust the school system as a whole because the things that they are doing that hurt the children, they don't want those things to be known. Those things, we should not know about the things that are happening inside of the schools. If students didn't speak up, we wouldn't know about those things.
Right.
So those things that are happening that are hurting children and causing children to be hurt, and holding children, specifically Black children, back, we shouldn't know about those things. But the fact that we do is what pushes against that status quo and leaves parents feeling like they not only cannot trust the school systems, but feeling like they also should be pulling their students out. But then we've talked about this a couple weeks ago in previous episodes. Some parents just do not have the ability to homeschool their kids or put them into a better school that is going to have their children's best interest at heart, because there's so many. It's not just, oh, I don't like this school, so I'm going to put you in another one. Like that, it's not always that easy for everybody.
See, and this is why Melissa continues to be here. Because she just succinctly broke that down. But I'm going to go to this one right here. Mr. Fox, are schools more concerned with managing behavior or protecting their image? Go.
Protecting their image.
Why so?
Managing the behavior that can protect their image.
That's your final answer.
Is the microphone close enough? Yeah, they manage the expectations and the behavior that can protect their and that's basically what Melissa just said.
How are they managing?
like Melissa said, they safeguard making sure certain information don't get out. Like Melissa was saying, a parent basically has to call 24 hours ahead just to be able to go to a school where their child is sitting in a class. So, but you telling me, I ain't never even birthed a kid, but you telling somebody who birthed a kid and raised a kid that they got to come to you, and they ain't got no CPS, no nothing on them or anything like that, and they have to come to you and ask you, can they see their children? It's like the teacher gets a chance to brush their teeth and comb their hair and all that stuff before you get there and get straight. And then the pencil whooping. The pencil whooping to continue to make sure that we look good. The ignoring and gaslighting that happens at the school board meetings. They clearly know the issues.
Because we told them. Go ahead.
A lot of people have. And they got a whole union
telling them
just for this, just to combat what we're talking about right now.
Right. Patrice, at what point does following policy become an excuse for harming children?
The whole system is built on a false premise of educating and loving children. We know that we're Black people in America, and we're not even treated as humans. It was written in constitutional law that we were 3/5 of human beings. So what policy has ever been written to protect Black people or put the best interests of Black people to mind? So there is no policies that can be followed that will uplift Black children. The policies that are created are to the destruction and the dismantling of Black children's self-esteem, confidence, value. I can go on and on and on. So you can say I'm following policy, but if a policy is created to be unjust to a certain population of people, you can never follow a policy that is going to empower me.
Come on.
Man.
Come on.
I mean, who actually benefits when families stay quiet, Mr. Chastain?
Who benefits when families stay quiet? The schools you just talked about, dude.
Yeah.
Whose information we just now getting a hold of, right? Because the kids are talking.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Just, man, no. They nobody benefiting nothing. Ain't nobody benefiting because kids are still being held to they're being tied down, held up, and everything else that they're doing, not being able to get the education that they're supposed to. So they're not getting nothing. Families ain't getting nothing at home because the kid is still doing what they're doing at home and not being able to be educated the way that they're supposed to be. And the school, they just babysitting. They just there babysitting, holding people to do nothing. I looked at some of the curriculums at the schools that we've been to, and they don't give them nothing to do. It's amazing to me that 11, 12, 13-year-olds don't know how to tie their shoes in the classes and don't know how to read basic and does, and that's just ridiculous to me. How all of that stuff is just that's just hidden. It's hidden. Our kids are suffering. Babies are suffering to hiding that stuff.
Say that.
Is it possible to be a good educator in a bad system? Coco.
Ooh.
She goes like, ooh.
You know what? Yes, because I think about myself. And although I am in this bad system and I am navigating, I remain true to my morals as an educator. That might be disregarding policies. That might be standing up for youth when, they can't stand up for themselves. That may be walking away from some positions and some jobs. Being a good educator to me is on your morals. And it's the same way. It's like, are you going to take money? Are you going to stand up for these babies? You know what I'm saying? So I think you can be a good educator in this system. It just depends on the person and how you morally going about things.
Yeah. And I want to say I agree with you, but there are too many people whose livelihoods are tied to doing the wrong thing.
Right.
They become compromised individuals when they know something is happening with the kids and they refuse to speak. On the other hand, the ones that do speak and they do tell what's going on with the schools or within the schools, they don't find themselves in toxic environments and they are pushed out of the system. So then my question then becomes, so who's supposed to stay and love the babies if you're making it uncomfortable for me to be here? right?
Okay.
And they can't even tell the truth about their experience without feeling that they're going to be retaliated against.
See, when you said educator, sometimes I think of an educator and a teacher different. You feel me? When I see a teacher, I feel somebody that has to stay and stick with those morals, those things.
Well,
like
you don't
that.
work for the system.
When I think about, when I think about an educator, I think about being a partner coming into a system. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Rewind it back and say it again. You think about it. Define the difference between educator and teacher to you.
So I feel like a teacher is a position. That's something that you go get credentials for. You become a teacher. You're in the system. I feel an educator is something that you choose to be, something that you that has been called. Something's been called upon you, and you go out and do the research and the knowledge to better yourself as an educator. I feel like it's a calling versus I'm gonna sign up and be a teacher and make this a profession.
So then a teacher can be
many hours.
So a teacher can be an educator.
A teacher can be an educator, yes, yes. Because like you said, some teachers, some educators have to say, okay, I'm going to turn this into a profession and go get this money because I got to feed my family and things too. You know what I'm saying? But then you can get educators like me that partner with the schools and come in and do my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever think that you're handicapped from doing your thing authentically in these systems that you partner with?
Yes.
Tell me why.
I have been handicapped. I have been at schools where they may wanted me to change the way I dress. They may wanted me to take something out. They may wanted me to not talk about God. They may wanted me to do certain things. So yes, inside of a system, you are handicapped.
Patrice?
Now listen.
No, I'm listening.
There will always, when you empower children, especially Black children, it is a threat against the very system in which schools and school districts and schooling was built. There's always going to be pushback when you are empowering and oppressed people. And so we have never had an easy job trying to navigate these school districts because there are always gatekeepers and there are always people in place that want to stop the empowerment of children. And when we are talking about Black children, and just be specific to Sacramento, we know that they're disproportionately getting disciplined and suspended and expelled more than any other ethnicity in this city, and they are the least amount of in regards to population in these schools. And so of course we've come across tons of roadblocks when it came to like the education of the authentic education of Black children, culturally relevant, culturally responsive, like rooted in voice, safe student-centered spaces, restorative justice that doesn't come with suspending or expelling or lunch detention. And yeah, you know, during the Trayvon Martin, just the Trayvon Martin period, young people started like staging walkouts and staging different protests at schools. And, you know, we were asked to step back, to stop giving young people so much political education. Being Black is a political. It's political.
Yes.
So if
no matter if you like it or not.
Educating a Black child about themselves, if that is a political act, then you're against our very existence.
Right. Because they want to force feed us the curriculum that makes them comfortable. Melissa, do schools discipline behavior or do they discipline discomfort?
Oh,
They only discipline behavior when it's students. They don't discipline behavior when it's teachers. Because if they did, we wouldn't be where we are. Again, and I keep saying that, but it's so true. They only discipline behavior when it's students that go against what, like the image we've talked about, like the image of schools and the image that they want to give off, when it goes against something that they can control. So if you go outside of what a school can control, they're going to discipline that behavior. They don't discipline. What you asked if they discipline behavior or did you say discomfort?
Discipline behavior or do they discipline discomfort?
And they only discipline discomfort when it comes to teachers as well. Because if a student is making a teacher uncomfortable, do something to make a teacher uncomfortable, they're going to discipline that student. It all goes back to disciplining the students and never the teachers if they're in the wrong. Because in the school's eyes, teachers can't really do wrong because they are protected.
Woo. So then that means that the children are unprotected.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Fox. Oh my goodness. Why is advocating for children often treated like aggression?
Because I'm aggressive when I show up. Because you mess with that baby. I mean, I'm gonna speak for again. You know, I always like to speak for myself.
Yeah.
I was raised as hold your sister hand when you cross the street. A dude mess with your sister. That's it. There ain't no question about what it was. You messed with my sister. Take the trash out for grandma, whatever have you. Anyhow, amongst all my wrongs that I've ever committed in life, I've never compromised. Well, I did get locked up, but I've always felt like my protection of sisters, of elders, and of my brothers, of kinship is tied to my morals somehow. It's just somehow it's just in me. It's so when I'm advocating, I can't help but recognize that whether it's a youth or their parent, this person is at a disadvantage. And the fact that they called up on me is to level out some type of advantage. It doesn't always got to be with the hands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this person is in need. They don't know me. And most times I've made a promise. I'm like, hey, I got you. Hey, what's wrong? I'm gonna show up. Even if we don't get the job accomplished, my goal is to stand beside you and advocate for you. And it's seen as aggressive because oftentimes you walk in the room and you see exactly why the person needs to advocate. Yes, they may be belligerent, but I also see you had no problem pushing this belligerent person's buttons. But I just have a strong sense of protection. This line of work goes hand in hand for me.
Mr. Chastain, what do you think? Why is advocating for children often treated like aggression?
Well, because when you're advocating for people who have been hurt and traumatized, man, people don't want to realize what they've done. They don't want to acknowledge that you had a part in this, right? And it's a long time for us to gather the information that we've had to ourselves to even acknowledge that was trauma.
Right.
I didn't know. I thought that was the normal thing, just get beaten at home all day or every day. I thought that was something normal. That was attention from my mama. But if I'm not understood that is wrong, and how do I know? But when we come in because we're looking at little Daniel. I'm looking at little Daniel who is needing somebody to say, hey, he's right here.
Yeah.
Right.
He's right here. Hear him. He's right here. I'm 6'2", 225, and I'm still little in a lot of places. I'm little where even going to the schools to put in work to help the kids out to give them our experience, to give them our life lessons, our learning, our tools, our the stuff that we have in our tool belt, man, to give them that. And they're saying that we can't be there because of the past stuff. Right. So but
when you say you're little, I need you to paint that picture for us.
My little 5-year-old self, my little 6-year-old self, who could not speak and say anything because I was always told that a child's place is over here, right? Or at home or at school. Child's place is right here. So I've never been heard. So that little me that sees my mama as a giant, my daddy as a giant, my older brother as a giant, or those that were around us at that time, I'm seeing them as giants, and they're giving me this tutelage, this information, but it's not right. Right? It's not right. So nobody can say for little Daniel, that little 5 or 6-year-old, that, hey, this is right. I have to say that now. And when we come in the way we come in, it's because of that. They're not being heard.
Right.
If you ask them, they will tell you. They'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But nobody is listening. So when we do come in the way that we come in about these babies, it's for real, because I was that baby that was never heard, never talked to, never asked the question. It was always, you in your place, get your ass over here.
Right.
So I come in the way that I come in. Now I am heard. I am felt.
Yeah.
Right. And every little one that has gone through that same thing with me, when I step in, that I'm bringing them with me, so that we can have that protection. That said, they can be safe, they can be heard and expressed the way that they need to be, the way that they need to express themselves.
Yeah. I think it's treated like aggression because they're not used to people holding the line. I'm not gonna buckle because you upset.
And you accountable. You are.
As a matter of fact, I might actually match your energy.
Yeah.
So depending on how we start this meeting, we might have to recalibrate a few things before we can move forward.
I think it's that right there, what you said. The fact that in my mind, people say the fight, when you fight, somebody hits you, you hit back. And I'm an 80s baby. The fight don't start when you ball your fist up. You said something out your mouth and that started the fight. So when I show up, you acting like you didn't do nothing. And clearly something happened, and you're like, "Well, I just don't." Okay, now it's time for aggression because you trying to play. You want to play stupid, so that's that matching that energy, like
we don't know,
right?
Like we ain't understanding.
And I know the repercussion of not being heard.
And there's a way to match the energy to where you're keeping the main thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't go in with emotion, right? Because emotion clouds judgment. I'm going in with the policy that you said this child violated. I'm going in with the litany of policies because if you've ever looked at a discipline report, it's not just one thing on there. They throw everything in the kitchen sink most times and see which ones stick. If you know how to argue, you can get them to take some of those things off. And so I think that it's seen as aggression because they're used to pushing paper and they've been told or how to do their job a certain way. And that's without people asking the relevant questions. And so I think it's deemed aggressive because they didn't know that they actually had to learn their homework before we actually show up.
Right.
We're not your typical type of people that come in and just want to hear what you have to say. No, I want to know why you did what you did.
Exactly.
But you just said something powerful, right?
What's up?
You're coming in with the policy, understanding the policy and knowing the policy and regurgitating the policy to the people who are supposed to be upholding the policy.
And I'm still trying to figure out why Natomas Unified School District didn't return my email yet. And I'm really trying to figure out why they have that child up for expulsion regarding whatever it was. And I thought that it was going to be relegated to one of the ed codes that force an expulsion, like 48911 or 48915. That child was not charged with either one of those. So I'm trying to figure out why we're at a whole expulsion hearing. So if they could return my email, that'd be great. However, what I will say is when schools say we're doing our best, who decides what best means, Melissa?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm not even trying to be funny because who does determine what best means? Because it feels like everywhere is different and it's never the best for Black students. It's never the best for Black families. It's the best. I feel like it changes. I don't know if it's one person who's determining it. I feel like it's everybody who they feel like needs to benefit from it. It's everybody who's getting paid. If it's their best interest, okay, we can change this for you because you work for us, or I'm going to get this change because I work for the school. It's never the best for the students. It's never the best for the parents or the Black families. It's always the best for the employees. And it's not even always the best for the Black employees because we talked about, because we talk about Black teachers who sometimes Black teachers can stand up for Black students and they can be reprimanded too, but let it be a white student who's standing up for something that happened, or a white teacher standing up for something that happened to a white student, and they're going to figure out what happened to Sarah, but they're not going to try and figure out what happened to the Black student. It's always about what's best for the white people, whether it's the white administrator, whether it's the white student, they're always going to figure out what's best for them and never for us. So who determines what's best? Not us. And that's the problem.
Yeah, like she said. Why are families told to be patient while children absorb the consequences in real time? Mr. Fox.
Because you can string people along with patience.
Getting their stuff together.
You have a lot of time to get your stuff together when somebody else is ignorant to what they to what you know. And I noticed that a lot of times because I'll be by your side when we go into the IEP meetings and 504 meetings. They actually be challenging us about what we know because they don't know. And a lot of times the aggression comes because I catch them lying. And they lie right to your face. They be like, oh yeah, the form, yes, it's right here. And I know you don't got it because I got it. And you're not reading it correctly. And that's not what it is. And then when you go to ask a question and say, so he had an IEP since last year. When was it going to get
updated?
When was it going to even get enlisted? The teacher didn't know. Who was supposed to tell the teacher? And then the parents just like, they want to go off. And then they'd be like, listen. We can all just, we can all figure out this right now. All we got to do is turn that camera footage on from the third. No, you can't get the camera footage. Nope. You know, it's that. So I think that they make people wait so that they can figure out what they're going to do, because oftentimes it's always a cover up of covering up. One thing that they do well, they got each other backs.
Yeah.
That union, that is, if I was to say one thing about that union and be like, man, you know what can I find? They got each other backs up in that union. They cover up every lie. They don't care what it is.
Because if they admit to wrongdoing, they open themselves up for lawsuits, but we ain't supposed to know that either. At what point does compliance become complicity, Coco?
Man,
she been banging you over there. She been giving good ones.
Compliance, man. We need to stop compliance. It's just that compliance is done. we need to stop complying. Compliance is done. I think we done complied about 50, 60 years since whatever. Compliance is no good for no one. More we comply, the more we continue to get messed over. Black children, Black educators, Black teachers, Black people, just all together. I think it's time to push back and stop compliance, because you can get complacent, and I think as a community, we've been complacent for a long time, depending on.
Well, we're definitely not who they think we are.
Of course,
because we would have tipped some of this stuff over.
We've been fighting and things, but I'm just saying in certain aspects. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's time to go back and take what's ours.
Do school systems listen to families or just manage them, Mr. Chastain?
What? Do they listen?
Do school systems listen to families or just manage them?
They manage them. They don't listen to nobody. They don't even listen to their own. That's crazy. They don't nothing. No, they just manage them. They just pass them on. Just time erases all the stuff. Just like Mr. Fox was talking about. You get to the video. What video? What you talking about? We ain't got that. You got 82 cameras on this campus. What do you mean? Hell, you mean you ain't got that? You ain't got that. But because they're so used to pushing people away and nobody able to speak up, advocate for themselves to get the information, it just passes on, and that's it. It just passes on. Manage it. That's what they've been doing.
And that's the problem with advocates. You can't manage me. I manage me. And a lot of times, again, they don't expect you to know what you know. So when you go into the room and they're talking, they're using, the education vernacular or jargon. They're trying to talk over your head like they're so smart, right?
Right.
And I think the problem is when you spend 16 years at the state capitol and you realize how these bills become law that they have to then implement in these systems, you trying to figure out why everybody have a different interpretation of what's written on the books, right? And so if I can be flimsy with my language and I can just throw a whole bunch of things at families and they're unaware of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, going right over their head.
And you're not telling them, okay, we actually have timelines that we have to meet. That's why I can only suspend your kid for up to 5 days maximum. If I'm going to go over that 5th day, I need to hold something called an extension to suspension meeting. In the extension to suspension meeting, I got a couple of choices. Either I'm going to let you go back to school, I'm going to give you an abeyance contract, or I'm going to put you up for expulsion without telling parents or families what those 3 options mean. I mean, you don't have to know anything for a kid to go back to school, right? But when you talk about an abeyance contract, we're not really giving them the jargon that goes with that or breaking it down so that they understand the choices that they have in front of them.
Yeah.
All we're doing is we're making people who already distrust or mistrust a system more agitated because we're not explaining things in a way that they understand that I could actually put my kid in a harmful position because I don't know what the hell is going on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And please don't let them have a 504 and an IEP.
Yeah. Right.
I am so tired of going into school systems where they think these documents are optional.
Right.
It is mandated.
Yeah.
Like you don't have a choice. So when I go in there and they say, "Oh, well, we didn't know," like whose problem is that?
Not mine.
You remember when we went to that one elementary school and they sent that baby that he was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. They sent him to a non-public school for behaviors, minor behaviors, little black boy. For minor behaviors, sent him to a non-public school with high schoolers, and they ended up assaulting him.
Wow.
Right. And so it's like, okay, well, who made that decision? You know, they sat there and they're fumbling through papers and they're looking. I said, no, I need you to go to the notes and tell me who made that decision to send that little baby over to the non-public school. And they said, well, it was the principal. The principal doesn't have the right to do that.
Authority to do it.
But the parent did not know. You know what I mean? So we're watching families go into situations, and because some of them don't understand what's going on, some of them don't really give a damn, and they're not showing up, and people are pushing paper just to go through their timelines. That's what's creating all of this chaos within that is surrounding our children, because we are not doing our due diligence. A lot of us as parents will get that school handbook, we'll sign it and send our kids to the campus. We ain't read that thing.
Read it. Yeah.
Inside it are policies. Inside it are expectations. And we're not reading, but we're sending our kids to an environment that we haven't really investigated.
Right.
And we're expecting them to navigate.
Yeah.
It's insane.
You know
It's
what
insane.
I noticed though?
What's
I
up?
always ask this question on campus teachers when they always tell me they got a kid. I'm like, yeah, how old is he? And they always tell me the age. And I always say, they go to this school. I have yet to meet one teacher where their kid go to the same school they teach in.
Of course. Yeah.
That's true. They said they wouldn't sign their kid up to go to that school, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
All of them.
And can I just add, that's why folks like BYLP and you, Miss Lorene, in particular, are so dangerous to the systems of education, because you understand the law. And when folks write these educational policies and these laws, they're banking on people not understanding them and not reading them. And so when you can interpret the law and hold them accountable to the policies that they have designed and they have failed to implement, then you are disrupting the very system that they are using to criminalize and penalize our children.
And then I say, she's aggressive.
And she mean
she's
all you're doing is holding them to their policies.
Oh my goodness,
these are their laws.
Yeah, and they didn't expect you to read them or to know what they mean by them.
Exactly.
But just like an attorney, which I am not, because if I was, the school districts wouldn't talk to me. I know that too. But just like an attorney, the best argument wins.
Yeah.
So if I can go in and I have my interpretation and my understanding is deeper than your understanding of said policy, I'm gonna win.
Exactly.
And they don't like that. And I don't care.
Exactly.
It seems like they be having a back door for it, man. It seems like when I work on the campuses, the teachers are trying to tell on the kids faster than the kid can tell on somebody. So the teachers like, oh my God, they did with you, when they want to go tell. The teacher want to go tell, and they want to hurry up and get you a citation, and that's what you get. That's what you get.
It's like nanny boo boo, right?
It's like immature teachers, man. They just.
Well, they're used to skating through the system, right? That has always been beneficial to them. With 84% of teachers are white women, they've been able to kind of develop their community of sisterhood.
Yeah.
On these campuses, teaching kids that don't look like them, majority.
Absolutely.
Right. And then that's a part of their paper trail, right? The more referrals I put on you, the more times I can write you up, the more times I can say you disrespected me. That's a part of your paper trail that's going to get ready to follow you throughout this system.
And that's why I request that, to know which teacher is writing the referrals, and is it the same one, and do we have a pattern here? Because then you can really figure out if that teacher just has an issue with that particular student.
Yeah.
And most of the time it is.
Yeah.
Because there was an issue over at Twin Rivers where there's one teacher who had, what is it, 9 Title IX?
Title IX, she kept doing
which is harassment, sexual harassment on the boys on the campus. And I'm like, the same teacher, and it's always the boys are making her feel uncomfortable. The boys are sexually harassing her. And I said, okay, well, what were they doing? She said they were walking around campus with their hands in their pants, right? So I'm like, okay, well, what season was it? because I'm a little smarter than the average bear. What season was it? Oh, it was about September, October. I said, oh, so when it gets cold outside, by chance, would those boys be cold? Is that why they have their hands in their waistbands of their pants? And they're like, well, she just thought that they were talking to her and fondling themselves. Like what?
And if
so she has a depraved mind.
About Black culture, that is how Black boys and men walk. They have their hands in their, like, come on.
And then y'all be saying
you're not
something.
Culturally relevant. So you're
and then why couldn't we see it as an equity issue? Why couldn't we get them men some gloves, some hoodies,
how about that?
Some things like that because it's cold?
What she did was
he's fondling himself. He is not fondling himself.
Crazy.
Is he looking at you, fondling
you can't
himself?
do that. This is I heard y'all say this over and over, and it just dawned on me. You said the school system is predominantly what?
White teachers
and white females.
Yeah, white females.
How can a white woman ever understand my experience, not just as a man, but as a boy? You ain't got no penis. You don't know nothing. You ain't raising no Black children. You don't know what I'm going through.
Well, I mean, some of them think that because they have Black children, that makes them
raise your children during slavery.
experts.
We raised y'all. All of y'all. Shout out to Harry Tubby. How can you understand? Only thing that can ever understand me like that is of my own culture.
And, we go back to Emmett Till, white women.
Can only be you know what I mean? I understand me.
Yeah, white women always been lying.
But you kicking me out of school like you
Black
understand.
men over boys, Black boys, over sexualizing Black boys. We can go all the way back there, right? A white woman's lie, white woman's tear, white woman's fragility. You know what I'm saying?
Do you know I went to the school and the first time I went to a school about that, it wasn't even a white woman. It was the principal. He told a boy, 13 years old.
Now wait. Do PG-13.
The boy came. The boy and his partner was hanging out, and the girl liked him, and she didn't know what to do, so she told the teacher, like, hey, I see them boys, they looking at me, but they didn't do nothing. So it was like, hey man, y'all making that girl feel uncomfortable and woody woo. Could have left it right there, but he said, but and you walking around here with your big old pecker and woo 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 woo. So the mother called me, and I was looking at, and I couldn't get him to understand. I could not understand why was you even commenting on his thing? So he said
over sexualizing Black boys. That goes back to that goes back to slavery when they used to line them up and say who pecker was the biggest. Right. Even when you think of NFL, which Niners,
Combine.
We won that. Eagles, shout out, you feel me, bang bang. But you think about it, there we go. Right? They would line them up and measure their peckers. You hear coaches and stuff saying like that, so it goes back to that. That's embedded racism in there. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate. I'm sorry you had to go through that because he should have not said that to you. But that's
no, he said that to a 13-year-old boy.
I went to protect the boy.
In one of the schools.
Okay. I thought you was talking about the 13-year-old boy inside of you. No. Okay. I'm just saying,
13-year-old boy.
I'm an 80s okay. You say that to me.
Either way, right? Either way, if it was you or one of our young today, it still doesn't make right.
My point was the men and the women of their thing do it, man. No. It's not just.
It's not just men. It's men and women.
Yeah.
Well, what did they say? The women teach them and their husbands lock them up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But don't forget about them shirts that the Twin Rivers had. You raise them, we cage them. There is Black boys. We was just talking.
And that was the one over the Twin Rivers Police Department, right?
Yeah.
A fundraiser, a fundraiser.
Because we like to make money off the backs of our children, but I digress. Go ahead, sis.
I was just real quick with the hypersexualization of Black boys and Black girls, because we know it goes both ways.
Because they're the largest group being dress coded.
Yes, right. We can keep on talking about that, but the threat of hypermasculinity to non-Black folks that Black boys possess is just, I cannot internalize why Black boys are such a threat to the masculine image of non-Black men. And it goes, hand in hand with the hypersexualization. That teacher had no right to say that to that baby. But
that was an administrator.
Principal.
That was an administrator.
And that's even worse, right?
Mm-hmm. So and that was at one of them fortune schools.
The internalization of Black boys being a threat to like this fragile masculinity. And it's so hard because that's why they discipline our children the way they do, because they're threatened by young Black boys. You know.
And what did Hillary Clinton call them? Predators.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to bring them to heel.
Yeah.
That's all this is we're trying to break the spirits of these children so they don't become and they don't reach their full potential.
Yes.
And we have to have that conversation.
Yeah.
I'm tired of playing with people personally, because I think that we spend so much time trying to protect or shield our children from these forces that would tell them that they are not capable, that they are not worthy, that they are not loved, that nobody will deal with them with care, compassion, and concern. And then they get to a certain spot and they lash out, and then you use the power of the pen to further penalize and criminalize them, pushing them into a whole nother system that's going to make money off of their bodies because they've already told them their minds are worth it.
Right.
Exactly.
So I just have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
Are IEPs and support plans about helping students or limiting liability?
Limiting liability.
Absolutely.
Why do you say that?
Because
limiting liability for the schools, right?
Yeah, for schools. Yeah.
Because I'm a big proponent of IEPs. If your child needs one, get one. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah. I think for the schools, you know what I'm saying? If I could prove that this child has an IEP, this child has this child has that, then I could kind of prove like this is why I treat this child this way. You know, if I'm thinking about it, I think that's why I said it.
Okay. Okay. Miss Patrice.
Yeah.
You go ahead, pop in. I know we just talking about a whole lot of stuff.
I had a point for 10 questions ago.
You got to learn to pop in.
I know, but I'm trying to learn to try to just step back and listen more, because it's everybody drops so many gems in here, and like we could have 10 podcasts off of one of the things, off of one of the questions. But just back to the 504 IEP real quick. I really think that while please get your child one if they need one, but I do think that schools use that as an excuse to over discipline and push out children and label them special ed, put all these labels on them to treat them like they do not belong, and also use that as a way to not take accountability for how they treat children.
I see it that way. The side to that is they're labeling them, and sometimes they don't even have one of these things, right? And if they do have one, they don't have the other. For instance, if a child is doing well academically but presents a behavioral problem, the parents sometimes will ask for an IEP. Well, because their academics aren't suffering, they will not qualify for one. So they need to ask for a 504, and not just a 504. If it's behavior based, they need to look at a BIP, which is a behavior intervention plan. But see, we don't know all this vernacular and all this jargon. We don't know how to protect our students, because to me, it's not about them being overly punished. It's about putting it on record that there's something going on with this child, whether it's trauma induced, whether it's something that's just chemically imbalanced in our children.
Right.
It tells them how they are supposed to interact with your child. It no longer leaves it up to them, because we know they don't have no good ideas anyway. It no longer is left up to them if you advocate properly. And if you don't know, you need to get you an advocate like the ones that we have here. But if you advocate properly, your child will get the supports in place that they need to be successful. Because we know equity is not a thing, it's a buzzword, right? And we know that there are some people who like to have them labeled so that they don't have to deal with them, and they can push them in a SDC, which is a special day class. Some of our children don't belong in there.
I agree.
Some of them just need some spanking.
Break it down from the beginning.
Like
Melissa, who's allowed to be emotional in school spaces and who gets punished for it?
Damn.
We just said that the people who are allowed to be emotional are usually the white women and the white teachers who get to bring their tears in and everything goes their way, but don't let a Black child have a bad day and bring
or
that
hungry.
Or be hungry or be tired or have a headache and walk into class and the energy is slightly off, and suddenly the whole world is ending and this student is getting detention or expelled. I'm so glad that I was homeschooled and went to schools that I felt really cared about me, because I have chronic migraines. I know walking into class with a headache, I'm not going to feel like engaging with you. And I've had teachers who ask me, how's your day going? Whatever. They meet me where I'm at. Oh, you have a headache today? Okay, I got it. But there are some schools who will pick on students. Oh, you're not engaging? Okay, I'm going to continuously call. I've seen that happen so many times. I'm going to continuously call on you to the point where you get upset. I'm not trying to figure out why you're upset, why you walked in and put your head down on the table, not falling asleep necessarily, but you're just not giving this class your undivided attention. And that's okay, because I think people forget that students are also human. They have emotion. They're not going to walk in with a smile on their face every single day, and that's okay. You have to meet students and meet people in general where you're at. You would not talk to your coworker or your colleague this way. Why are you talking to another human being that way? It doesn't matter if they're younger than you. It doesn't matter if hierarchically they are below you. They're still a person. It's still a human. So the only people who are allowed to show emotions clearly are the teachers, and specifically the white teachers, because there's been Black teachers and educators who have been reprimanded because of their emotions as well, whether it is having strong emotions trying to stand up for Black students. I've experienced that with Black educators who have tried to stand up for me because I needed something, expressed it to them, and they're no longer in that position anymore because they had to decide if they wanted to stand up for Black students or walk away. So the only people who can show emotion and apparently get rewarded for their emotion are white women.
The youth is the truth. Speak on it.
That is crazy.
Oh my goodness. If the system is working, why are so many families exhausted?
The system ain't working.
Yeah, where?
To some people it might be.
The system is not working. No system is working. It's about time to.
But
it's working for them. It's working for them. It's not working for us. It's working for them. It's not working for us. You know what I'm saying? When I say the system ain't working, I'm thinking about it as people.
Why are we exhausted?
Because we're trying to change a system that was not built for us.
You can't change a system that wasn't built for us. I'm starting to notice as we have these conversations. I say, of course they don't like us. You only start talking to us 50 years ago. I mean, and out of 50 of them years, 27 of them I was locked up.
Exactly.
So, and I seen what y'all do behind the wall. So I never had a good experience with that person. So if you've had centuries of treachery, why is the burden on me to make you trust me?
And I think we're exhausted because we're trying to change a system, and we're trying to survive a system that was not built for us. And it is exhausting because we are having to defend every aspect of our whole existence. That's why we're so tired.
And we tired for always trying to be a part. You know what I'm saying? When you go back to Martin Luther King and segregation, we were trying to be a part instead of having our own, building our own, being okay with our own. We wanted to be a part. I want to ride their buses. I want to be on airplanes.
Now let's be clear. Everybody didn't want to.
And I'm not saying everybody at the time, right? Everybody don't want to do
That's just for the people that don't know their history and don't read books.
Everybody didn't want to do everything. But I think for trying to be a part as well, that's a fight. Always trying to be a part. Let me assimilate. Let me put my hair this way. Let me be more educated. Let me get your degrees, because I'm constantly trying to be a part of this system.
I never really wanted to be a part of the system. I've always been in love with my Blackness, and I love you too for being Black.
That's what's up.
But I always did wonder this. I don't want the 40 acres in the middle.
I do.
I do.
I don't want it. But what I do want to know is
you can give it to
why
me
is there such a problem of me wanting to have some level of investment of something that my people built.
Right.
If your grandma died right now, you tripping on a house. Somebody is, you know what I mean? And maybe that might not be the right the context, but it's always a problem when we get together. It's a problem when don't let them hear this show right here. They go do something to the Wi-Fi. It's always a problem, and I don't understand why. If you have it and you got why are you over socializing me? Why is this?
They gonna hear it
why
this
is
year,
all this?
so get ready.
You know what I mean? Why is it a problem? And then, like I said, I think about it and I say, oh yeah, you only started talking to me 50 years ago and you didn't want to.
Click, follow, share, let the people know we here and we talking real life truth.
What you say in the opening, sis? Y'all gotta get comfortable
with saying Black.
With saying Black.
Service announcement. Legislative open house. High school students. PSA. High school students. Black Youth Leadership Project is I want to say financing. I was going to say promoting. Financing and promoting legislative open house, LOH, high school students. Your voice belongs beyond the classroom. March 20th and 21st, BYLP is hosting a legislative open house for students in grades 9th through 12th and their families.
Mm-hmm. Y'all better get there.
Your family mean your mama can eat a sandwich too or a soda.
Get the information. Get there.
If you care about justice, leadership, and a real change, this is a space for you. Parents, sign up your students. Students, show up ready. March 20th and 21st, BYLP. Be in the room. That is at bylp.org. You can go there and sign
Mr.
up.
Fox.
Mark your calendars. Mark your calendars.
All right,
Sign
we got a couple minutes left, so I want to do this really quick. Last question from me, and then you had a question specifically for Melissa, right? You wanted to know something from Melissa?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
So, do schools prepare students for life or for obedience?
Obedience.
Talk to them.
Oh, I thought we was just going obedience, because I need you to be a good citizen. I need you to come out of school and be a good citizen, whatever that is for them. I need you to be obedient to my system. I need you to be obedient to
model minority.
Both.
They want
Fit into the matrix.
I say both.
Sure.
Both? Talk to
Yeah. I made it all the way. Everybody know I went to prison not knowing how to read. So it didn't teach me. And I still don't follow rules. But I don't follow rules because it's them. I'm not listening to nobody. I'm not doing it. It teaches you life because people go there and they socialize. Some girls teach each other how to do R's. Some dudes meet their bros there. They meet their day ones there. Some people learn that, hey, you know what? I actually don't like bullies. And that's where
do it teach you how to socialize or do it teach you how to do life?
Do it teach you how to socialize or do it teach you how to do life? Life can't even teach you how to do life. So I would say it teach you to socialize because
that's an important component
for me.
Socialization. That's why our kids have problems during
that
COVID.
I learned where not to talk to people. I looked around, I ain't dealing with him. I start learning like okay.
But it doesn't give you many life skills. Are you saying yes?
It don't give you life skills.
Yeah.
It just gives you the
right.
Hello.
Okay.
You and that hello for somebody who's antisocial, ain't got it against them, the system against them, and they can't read not that hello gonna take them far.
Come on.
Because they, you know what I mean? They gonna at least the one thing that I do advocate for our babies to be in school is at least for the experience.
Okay.
If they go there, they see you. Now I finally seen them. I'm not gonna see them nowhere else.
Yeah.
You gotta come to the school grounds and catch me in the streets. And the most place to catch them at is there. So at least go get the experience. But then, we gotta stay in the background protecting them all the way because we already know it ain't gonna be a good experience.
Yeah.
Word.
I
don't know what we should do. I just know that ain't the answer no more.
And I know I said that was the last question for me, but I lied. I have one more. And I'm going to kick it to Mr. Chastain first, and then we're going to go to Melissa's question, and then we're going to get these other ads out the way, yeah? What truths about schools are we still afraid to say out loud?
That they ain't doing shit.
PG-13, Mr. Chastain.
That they ain't doing stuff. They not teaching our babies nothing.
Our babies.
Not teaching them nothing.
They not made for Black students.
Yeah, and that schooling and education are two different things. And schools are schooling our students. They're not educating them.
Mr. Fox?
They didn't teach Ruby Bridges nothing either. I know what y'all did. Y'all went in there and y'all had her in the classroom by herself. Y'all segregated. Y'all have her in there with that stuff.
We know what y'all did all these centuries.
Just because she don't want to say it, I'll say it.
We know.
Like she was not in the classroom with nobody. All students left out the class.
Melissa, what
never
truths
integrated us.
about schools are we still afraid to say out loud?
I agree with Mr. Chastain. They're not doing anything. Like, that's the one thing. I think he was right. Like, they're not doing anything. And this goes back to like the question about is school teaching students about, or Black students about life or obedience? They're not teaching. If you're not teaching them about life, if it's not things that they can use in school, if it's not emotional skills that they can use in life, you're not teaching them anything. I don't need to use all of these things that I'm learning, or rather not learning, outside of this space. So if you're not going into a classroom where people are caring about you, making it very clear that they're caring about you, because people in the world will care about you. If you don't know what that feels like, I don't think they're teaching you anything.
I feel like that too, Melissa.
And I think one thing that I would want folks to know about schools, they work for you. When the hell did we start making it so that schools act like we work for them? Without our children, there is no school.
Right.
We got to flip the game.
Yeah.
People don't know who's on first. The parents are on first. Act like it. That's what I would say. But you have a question for Melissa, and then we could read that.
Yes. Melissa, and I know you probably won't get through the whole thing, but a couple of weeks ago, you and Coco and I had a conversation about the recent cuts to programs, not only K through 12 programs, but programs and fundings that is affecting the university and the higher education system as well. I know you are, you studying your people where you're at, and how have the recent, changes in educational funding, especially for higher education, directly affected you and your higher education experience right now?
Yeah, so they have a very loaded question.
Yeah. I know.
So I am a part of one of the Black orgs on campus that focuses on recruiting Black students to come to UC Berkeley, as well as retaining Black students at the school. So making sure that we provide resources that aren't there, direct students to resources that we cannot provide, and then giving specifically low-income Black students who are in high school resources to be able to apply to college and answer all of their questions about the experience as a Black student on campus. The cuts have made it so we are having to drastically scale back on our recruitment. So having to figure out how we're going to get around not having as much money to be able to go out and talk to Black students. And that's the hardest part about this work, is that I'm very passionate about it. And I want to be able, without some of the things that Berkeley provides, specifically the recruitment, I wouldn't have known about UC Berkeley. I wouldn't have known about all of the programs specifically focusing on Black students, not people of color, not minorities, specifically what Berkeley does to focus on Black students. I wouldn't have known about that without their recruitment programming, which the school is supposed to fund. But cutting all of that means that we have to drastically cut back on the number of students that we are allowed to recruit, that all of the programs that we're allowed to do to actually go out into the community to recruit, because not every student has a car. So we have to figure out transportation. We have to figure out how we're going to get there, what we're going to feed the students, because we can't bring the students to the school to give them a panel about Black life at Berkeley and not feed them. We have to figure out the rooms we're going to rent. We can't do all of those things without money. And so they are drastically cutting back on our funding. And we have a program coming up in the fall, or not the fall, sorry, in the spring, that I was a product of senior weekend. It's the only reason I went to Berkeley, because I love the Black community at Berkeley. And we have to figure out how on earth we're going to run this program, because they're cutting back our funding, which means we have to cut back on the amount of students that we bring, because we're supposed to fund their flights, where they're staying, their food for the entire weekend. And cutting back on that means we have to cut back on the amount of students we can service, which means we have to cut back overall on the amount of students that are going to be at Berkeley. And when you are less than 5%, or I think we're at 3 or 4, maybe, you're cutting back basically the entire existence of Black people at school. So it's very hard. I could go on and on about how.
Tell us about your degree program, the program you're majoring in.
I'm majoring in African American Studies. There haven't been any direct funding cuts to that right now, but it's mostly surrounding the multicultural, almost all of the multicultural centers that we have, but specifically impacting me as a Black student in the Black Resource Center.
Wow.
And we're talking about Berkeley has, don't quote me on the exact percentage, but I think it's somewhere around 4.1, 4 point something percent of Black students. And so if the funding is cut to outreach, and Melissa just stated, if it wasn't for this outreach program, the Berkeley senior weekend, she would not be there.
Right.
And so and it is so few Black students on campus, right? And we work at UC Davis. We know these percentages when it comes to the Black population at these UCs. If you're gonna cut that, so we're barely moving the needle when it comes to, and
it's not like it was funded at a high level
anyway, right? And these UCs are trying to match the percentage of Blacks in California as their Black populations at these universities, which is around 6%. They're not there. Well, UC Berkeley's not there. UC Davis not there. There's a lot of UCs that are not there. When you are not there, why are you cutting?
Yeah.
Why are you cutting? And so that goes just to what everything we've been talking about. We're trying to break through a system that was never designed for us to be there.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to survive in a system that was, not designed with us in mind. And I know we're over time.
And I'm cutting because it has been proved that so many Black women have got degrees. We have used this as an avenue. We have used this as a way. You know what I'm saying? And so if I start all the way down with outreach,
right,
that's how strategic I'm being about weeing y'all out. I'm finna start cutting it outreach. Then I could wee you out, because time have went by and oh my gosh, we have so many, Blacks that already have degrees, that already have went through this system and found a way. So I'm gonna cut them back, because I don't need no more Miss Loreens up at the at the office knowing all the laws and the politics and so I'm gonna start with outreach.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a commercial.
Yes, ma'am.
Stop the hate, California. Everyone deserves to feel safe. If you experience a hate incident or hate crime in California, support is available. Call 1-833-8-NO-HATE. That's 1-833-866-4283, or visit caversushate.org to report and connect with culturally competent resources and support. We're proud grantee partners with Stop the Hate California, standing with survivors and helping communities heal. Don't stay silent. Help stop the hate. I needed them Juneteenth 2020.
Let's stop the hate. Stop the hate, California.
Stop all this cutting to our resources that we wasn't even fully funded on.
Can I add one more thing about that too?
Melissa wants to add one more thing.
I want to add one more thing about that too. It's public knowledge that Berkeley's chancellor refuses to meet with most student groups. After that happened, he stopped meeting with student groups, including the organization that I'm in, including the umbrella. I'm in an organization that's under an umbrella that has a resource center for a whole bunch of ethnic groups. He stopped meeting with all of us. That happened last year. So it's public knowledge that he refuses to meet with us, will direct us to his cabinet, who can't answer any questions that we have. Hey, Rich Lyons, if I'd like to talk to you. Yeah, it's a problem. And yeah, it's public knowledge. He has refused to meet with us. Refuses to come to meetings.
Interesting.
It's a problem.
Very interesting.
And what's that chancellor's name again?
His name is Rich Lyons.
Rich Lyons, get on your job, because you are not there for you. You are there to represent the students, all of the students, not just the ones that look like you or that you're comfortable with. So I'm gonna need you to get on your job. So with that, y'all, we are out of time as usual. This is what we do. But join us next week when we are going to be talking about MLK. Would he be a problem in today's schools? Every January, schools quote Dr. King, but rarely follow him. In this unapologetic MLK Week episode, which is next Monday, the BVBOE team challenges how MLK's legacy has been sanitized, softened, and weaponized against the very communities he fought for. From discipline policies to order over justice, this conversation asks a hard question. Would MLK be welcomed in today's schools, or written up, removed, and labeled disruptive? This is not a tribute, it's a confrontation. So join us next week right here on BVBOE 4:30 PST, right here on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to hit you with the peace sign because the ladies are still here. The gentlemen had to get to work, but we will see you next week.
Peace.
They would throw Martin Luther King under the school. Okay.